Welcome to TYT Sports, everybody. I'm Ben Mankiewicz. I'll do this like boxing. The guy with the hat on is J.R. Jackson. The other one is Jason Rubin. This is so we do Turks and Jerks. Our Jerks clip is already posted. This is our Turk of the week, and let's begin on the end there with Jason.
So there's a few good mentions, a few mentions that should be named, but I'm going to stick with the Denver versus New England football game.
So am I. I hope that you don't steal mine.
Well, it's snowy, which makes for a good football environment. Yeah. It's that I guess rivalry is somewhat there, even though Peyton Manning wasn't playing.
Oh, you know what? Hang on. Let me interrupt just by saying that I'm certain you're not going to steal mine because you guys aren't clever enough. Okay, go on.
Stephen Gostkowski is my Turk.
Oh, that was mine.
No. I know it wasn't your Turk of the week. You probably have some no-name offensive lineman on there. But the Patriots have sneakily had two of the greatest kickers of all time.
Peter Brady there for a brief moment.
Who?
The Patriots.
Very nice. Gostkowski hits a field goal from 47 yards out.
I thought he did that on purpose the second time.
Peter Brady. Oh, wow, man. Brady Bunch. He's voice cracked.
Got it.
When it's time to change, you've got to rearrange.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'll look it up after the show.
Something like that.
So, Ben Gostkowski, it replaces Adam Vinatieri, and he's made 80 of 83 field goals in the fourth quarter overtime.
Yeah,
and
it's amazing.
I don't know who the Denver kicker is off the top of my head. I know it's not the guy, Matt Prater.
It's Jason Elam, always.
It can't be Jason Elam. It's
McManus.
It is McManus, who shanked a field goal. I mean, like, he would have to aim 10 yards left for the Steve and maybe hit the right upright going.
Rich Carlos. That's the Denver kicker.
Was he in the Brady Bunch also?
No, but he used to kick barefoot in the snow.
That's impressive. So Gostkowski hits a 47-yard field goal to go to overtime. They lose in overtime, but Brady leads the drive. He's got no Gronkowski.
Yeah, no,
no. You talk enough anyway. So there's no Gronkowski. He doesn't trust Brandon LaFell. I think Matthew Slater is their fifth-string wide receiver who is playing. They have a guy named Harper. I don't know his first name because
Bryce.
It's not Bryce. It might be Chris. Although he might have flown in from the Nationals to play for the Patriots. They have Chandler as a tight end. Brady has nobody.
That's right.
And he leads a team in 10-degree weather down the field to get the field goal and then and he almost gets fucked by an excessive timeout rule, which Dan Wetzel tweeted out was the correct call. Yeah. The clock was supposed to continue running with a great vine of Bill Belichick on the sideline going, what the F?
Yeah, I was listening on the radio, so they gave the timeout to Denver because the player was hurt.
It was an injury.
And Denver didn't have any timeouts, right?
So the clock, what you would think with a timeout, would stop.
Right,
you get a reset play clock, so it goes back to 40. They're rushing down the field, the hurry-up offense.
But then they wound the game clock.
It didn't seem like Brady knew that. Didn't seem like Belichick really knew that. It's a that must be a buried rule.
I didn't know the rule, and but the referee should explain it. Like if nobody, I mean, we're not trying to trick people. You don't have to know every page of the rule book in every situation. Like they should say, hey, and by the way, yes, or call it something else.
Right.
But we're taking a timeout. When you say timeout, you think the play clock's not going to start.
They got, and you would think with an excess timeout call, they would lose a timeout in overtime.
Well, that doesn't. No, that's a different. That's a different.
They call it excessive.
So they call it excessive. Carries over.
So I agree.
How was that on the radio? Did you have any idea what was going on?
No, I didn't. I was like, why is the clock going? But I thought that maybe the radio announcers didn't know what was going on. I also
no one knew what was going on.
My wife was studying for the grad school exams. My baby's sleeping in the back. I was listening to the game like. I was like, what's happening? What's happening? I was like barely trying to turn it up, but. Yes, I have Tom Brady as my Turk of the week.
It sounds like it's all in the same game we're working.
Because for me, Brady, like who you left out in that. So you have no Gronkowski in that game.
No
maybe the greatest tight end, maybe of all time. Most impactful tight end.
Third behind Jerry Rice and Randy Moss for most touchdown receptions in 6 seasons.
Yeah, I mean, just an amazing run. And you just see the value he puts in because we saw what happened when he's out. No Edelman. No Gronkowski, no Edelman, no Amendola. And then left out of this all was no Deion Lewis, who made such a huge impact early in.
Yeah.
And
Brandon Bolden.
Right, and so then this guy goes, I mean, it's tough, in a sense, hard to give it to Brady when the Patriots blew a 21-7 fourth quarter lead.
Yeah.
But that drive, taking him downfield in those circumstances so effectively, and to get the dead-eye Stephen Gostkowski to tie the game up. And then they got the ball in overtime. You thought, damn, they're going to win. But then on that drive, he clearly, again, I didn't see it. I'm listening to it. But, you're hearing a guy, you're like, oh man, he's got nobody to throw to. I mean, it's snowing, and so it didn't happen. And then and then Anderson.
Well, that's the
that
thing.
Big run. But Brady, amazing. His numbers you have right there: 23 of 42, 280. How many TDs? Three touchdowns, and that drive. Just, I mean, the guy again with receivers. He's from another planet, and that planet is Saturn. He still proved he's from another planet yesterday, but it's just Mars. Like it's a relatable planet. But man,
Well,
that guy's amazing.
I think it's just a little frustrating that it took the Broncos the whole game to realize what all of us realize, that there's not many weapons. And of course, these guys are still professional players. I'm a big proponent of, if you're a professional, you can play to some degree. You may not be as good as the Gronkowskis of the world, but there's another, 6'7" tight end that they have. I don't know who the hell this guy is, but I looked up, and he's not, he can catch the ball too. So there's something there. It can be done. And yes, Brady has to work with the guys. Maybe your timing isn't the same, but they're still professional football players on the field. And they took care of it. They got to a certain point. But my point about the Broncos, they realized, maybe we should blitz this guy. I mean, that last drive was just get on Brady. That's the last guy they've got left. Get him. And they got to him. And then it was a 3 and out. And it ends up in
every play.
No Von Miller pelvic thrust.
Yeah,
Right.
I was looking for it.
The guys on the
He was
going to
be the Turk if he did.
They said, he knows how big this game is, how important it is, and you're not showing up and incentivizing Tom Brady. He's like, it's a big play. I'm not rubbing his face because we got to make one more play, and I'm not going to. Yeah.
So I guess, leading to mine, it's all in the same game, of course. But instead, it's Brock Osweiler.
6'8".
The 6, is he 8? I thought he was 7. Yeah, he played for Arizona State. I remember we had to face him. Again, I mean, come on, the guy's
USC.
The guy's a tall guy.
Brutal weekend.
What did USC do? Okay. So Brock Osweiler went 23 for 42, 270 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He's been sitting behind Manning, watching him become an old man in front of his face.
Remember the game when Osweiler got so frustrated when he was supposed to go in garbage time, and Manning was like, no.
What's wrong with
You see Osweiler, come on. It's 42-10. There's 4 minutes to play.
At this point, he's like, I'm not a rookie anymore.
Yeah.
I know you think so. So anyway, I point out his numbers because, again, in a snow game, an overtime game, yes, he had the running game helped him with that, but he had to run the offense. And as a new guy, of course, facing the Patriots and facing that defense and facing that coaching staff, it's not an easy thing to do. And actually, that last play, he did change the play at the line. They asked him about it later. In the
Anderson touchdown run, the overtime play?
He checked the play at the line. He said he saw what he saw and he changed it and he knew that would work. It was the same play that they scored on earlier.
Right, very Peyton Manning.
Very much of a veteran type of move. He's been watching, not just watching with a clipboard and a hat on. He's been paying attention and he actually sees game
Which is weird because he goes to Arizona State and he went to Arizona State and they will admit literally anyone.
So I'm sorry.
That's actually, I believe that's true.
They took James Harden.
Yeah, they will admit. Well, it's a new system now. So, but you want to go to college? Arizona State, you can go.
It doesn't snow. But so I just want to compare it to, as you point out, Brady. Brady was 23 of 42, 280. Again, I'm gonna go back. Osweiler was 23 of 42, same numbers, 10 yards less, of course, less touchdowns. The other two were running touchdowns. It was great. Carson Palmer, everyone was talking potential MVP. 24 of 40. 271 yards.
The Niner defense played big.
Yeah.
The Niner defense. I mean, the Niners had literally the Cardinals' best play was, all right, let's wait for it to be 3rd and 18, and then the Niners will hold. And that's what we'll do.
Yeah.
Or we're going to pass it. I mean, just play 3rd down conversion after 3rd down conversion on penalty. The Niner defense really.
And Carson Palmer had no touchdown passes, but he had several that were down within the 10, so they were damn near touchdown passes. They resulted in touchdowns.
If there's something that's going to kill the Cardinals from going to the Super Bowl this year, it's that they don't score touchdowns. They kick field goal after field goal after field goal. I mean, that game, they were an 8-point favorite. They should have covered that.
And then they eventually get their touchdown, and then you've got.
And then you see he spiked it so hard he fell over.
Yeah, I was like, he's going to tear his ACL again.
That's what I was figuring. That's what I thought too.
And lastly, Russell Wilson, of course, Super Bowl champion Russell Wilson from a couple of years ago, 21 of 30. This guy was very efficient. 21 of 30, 345 and 5 touchdowns. I'm just comparing him to these 3 guys who were always potential MVP candidates because Brock Osweiler had similar numbers in the snow against the Patriots.
Yeah,
now, has Brock Osweiler arrived?
Maybe.
No, but
right,
he's
JR's
the
MVP of the year.
But he's worth. Right, totally. It's worth watching. Yeah. All right, guys. That was our Turks of the week. Very bold. We picked Tom Brady.
Noskowski.
Right, and a kicker. Nice job. Nice job, Pete. All right, everybody. Thanks for watching.